Sundry Offerings and Presumptuous Sin. The scriptural reference for this study is taken from the book of Numbers 15:1-41. The passage from Numbers 15:1-41 tells a story about the Israelites, a group of people chosen by God who faced challenges during their journey to a promised land. They struggled with doubts and complaints, but despite their mistakes, God showed them mercy and gave them guidelines on how to make things right through sacrifices. After a series of rebellions and doubts among the Israelites, God decided to establish rules for sacrifices. These sacrifices were meant to help the people reconcile with God and find their way back to His good graces. Even though the Israelites had disappointed God with their actions, He still cared for them and wanted to give them a chance to make amends. One important rule was that sin required a sacrifice involving the shedding of blood. This concept is also found in the New Testament, where it's emphasized that without bloodshed, sins cannot be forgiven. So, the sacrifices outlined in Numbers 15 were a way for the Israelites to acknowledge their wrongdoing and seek forgiveness. These sacrifices also foreshadowed the ultimate sacrifice of Jesus Christ, who shed His blood on the cross for the forgiveness of sins. The passage also talks about the difference between sins committed accidentally and those done on purpose. While there were allowances for unintentional mistakes, deliberate disobedience was taken very seriously. The book of Hebrews reinforces this idea, explaining that knowingly going against what is right leaves no room for further sacrifices and instead invites punishment. Overall, the story in Numbers 15 teaches us about God's mercy and justice. Despite the Israelites' shortcomings, God was willing to forgive them and help them get back on track. But it also reminds us of the importance of obedience and genuine remorse when we do wrong. Through sacrifices and repentance, we can find forgiveness and restoration in our relationship with God. The passage from Numbers 15:1-41 in the Bible serves as a significant reminder of the intricate relationship between sin, sacrifice, and divine mercy within the narrative of the Israelites' journey towards the Promised Land. This passage follows a tumultuous period in the Israelites' history, characterized by rebellion, doubt, and murmuring against God and Moses, their leader. In response to the Israelites' defiance, God institutes laws regarding sacrifices, providing a framework for reconciliation and restoration. Despite the Israelites' transgressions, God's compassion shines through as He establishes a pathway for their atonement and eventual entry into the Promised Land. However, this pathway is contingent upon their willingness to obey and adhere to His commandments. Central to these sacrificial laws is the principle that sin requires atonement through the shedding of blood. This principle finds resonance in the New Testament, where it is reiterated that without the shedding of blood, there can be no remission of sins. Thus, the sacrificial offerings outlined in Numbers serve as a tangible expression of this eternal truth, symbolizing the ultimate sacrifice of Jesus Christ on the cross. Furthermore, the passage distinguishes between sins committed ignorantly and presumptuously. While provisions are made for unintentional transgressions, the gravity of presumptuous sins is emphasized. The book of Hebrews underscores this distinction, highlighting that deliberate disobedience in the face of truth leaves no room for further sacrifice, but invites judgment and righteous indignation. In essence, the laws of sacrifice outlined in Numbers 15 underscore God's unwavering commitment to His people despite their failings. Through the sacrificial system, God provides a means for reconciliation and restoration, extending His mercy to those who earnestly seek forgiveness. Yet, this mercy is not to be taken lightly, as willful disobedience carries grave consequences. Thus, the narrative of sundry offerings and presumptuous sin in Numbers 15 serves as a profound testament to the delicate balance between divine mercy and righteous judgment. It underscores the importance of obedience, repentance, and genuine contrition in the pursuit of spiritual renewal and reconciliation with God. Through sacrifices and repentance, we can find forgiveness and restoration in our relationship with God, echoing the timeless themes of mercy and justice woven throughout the biblical narrative.